Welcome back to the Fuel Show. We're back in the pits at the Baxter Installation Center. Ty, thanks for having us by again. Hey, listen, we want to make sure that when you're looking at your new vehicle, your used vehicle, don't be intimidated just because it has things under the hood you've never seen, or if it's an old car and it has some items you've never worked on. Don't be intimidated. Make sure you do all your maintenance. Now let's have Ty and myself check to one of the fuel fleet vehicles and check out what we can find out. Why don't we go over here?
Right.
All right, now one of the things, Ty's got to be a repair manual. You would think that this would be an obvious thing to grab. There's a couple different manufacturers, but you have a haze here.
Right. Well, think about what you're going to be doing with a car. Look over the vehicle's owner's manual. That's going to tell you a lot. How to change bulbs, where they go, where to look for fuses at.
Kind of the regular general stuff.
Right. That stuff's very important for maintenance. But sometimes in these, you can get into a little bit more advanced things, such as radiator hose replacement, belt replacement. That's key in this day and age. Air filter replacement. Also, interior cabin filter replacement.
And I saw that. You know, a lot of these modern cars, especially like this little Acura we have here, have pollen filters or interior dust filters. These last approximately 30 to 60,000 miles, as far as I know. Is there any particular thing that you would say that you should be aware of when replacing these?
Well, you want to make sure that when you pull them out, any of the dust accumulation through the ducting system doesn't go right in and you put the filter in above it. So be careful on that. The owner's manual will tell you where to put these in, but this is a HEPA filter here basically, so it's going to be a time thing. They recommend about every year to 2 years to replace these.
Okay.
This particular vehicle we're standing in front of actually has 2 of these little guys like this, so don't be thinking you're getting off easy with just one.
Now that's more on modern cars. Now on older cars, you're going to get into things like brake pads, you know, things with the general maintenance of the vehicle. What can you tell me about these?
Well, the basics of brake technology and how the friction system works to actually stop the car is the same. So believe it or not, on this brand new 08 vehicle here, you can change the brake pads yourself. Where you need to be concerned with is getting it into the anti-lock brake system. Now, normally you wouldn't crack the hydraulic system in there, but with the manual, we'll walk you right through that setup.
Okay. Now, one of the things I've actually been asked in the last 30 days on brake pads is they actually have tabs. People always wonder what that squeak is. There's a reason why it's there. It's usually a tab that's built into the brake pad to tell you. It actually contacts the metal on the rotor to tell you. The squeak means you've got a very short period of time when it's time to replace that stuff.
Right. If you look at this right here, you can see it's about a 1/16 of an inch below the pad there, the actual backing pad. Now, you really should be inspecting your brakes more than that. When you really want to inspect them is when you rotate your tires. Please rotate your tires because it keeps all 4 wearing evenly, keeps the car driving better down the road. And when they have the tires off, they can actually give it a look here. If you're getting down that close and there's anything irregular in that system, if this is wearing a little bit crooked, you could have a problem before that wear indicator hits. That's part of routine maintenance and inspection.
And I think that's very important when we touch on things that are so basic. Now, we could talk about whether you're running 1.5 or 1.6 roller rocker ratios in your race car over here, but it's amazing how many people don't realize how basic that is. They hear that squeak, they don't really even know what it is, and it's one of those things that you just have to pay attention to. All right, obviously the Serpentine belt. You want to replace it. You found that it has more than 1 crack per inch. You want to make sure that this thing is operating because it's driving everything in the vehicle. How do you replace this?
Well, these most of the time are actually easier than you would think they are. They have an automatic tensioner on there. So what we do is we get a long bar tool that sets right on the top center of that. You relieve the tension, slide the belt off, pay attention to the routing instructions, which will be under the hood or in the owner's manual. Put the new belt on. Really, it takes less than 10 minutes to do, and you probably are buying a product with a lifetime guarantee. If you're doing it yourself, you probably care about your car a little bit more.
It's nice to know you can do that. Now, obviously, with radiator hoses, I want to go back. We talked about how to look for a visual inspection of them, but replacing them. Now, when you look under the hood of this brand new car, I can barely see one little piece of it. Is there a lot of work to getting this in and out of the vehicle?
There's actually not. Remember the underhood components on this, all these plastic covers here are to make it look higher tech. The motors are basically the same in technology. You need to keep them cool, and there's going to be a couple of simple clamps on the end of it. When you do get into changing them, pay particular attention to the instructions. Make sure the motor's cooled down. You can squeeze a hose here to make sure there's no pressure on it. This one here is still warm, so we'd give this an hour or so to cool down, crack the radiator cap, drain a little fluid, change the hose. 2 screwdrivers and you're done.
How easy can it be? All right, well, you know what? A little bit of maintenance goes a long ways. Now, when you want to take care of your vehicle, make sure and check out Baxter Auto Parts. They can supply the stuff. Go to thefuelshow.com. We can always supply you with advice or get a column going with Ty here. But remember, this has been In the Pits, and we'll see you next time on The Fuel Show.